Good evening. This is Rob Bell, and we're here again on Getting the Record Straight. I'd like to welcome everyone. Hope you're staying safe and still dealing with this coronavirus. This evening is May the 3rd. It's Sunday, and this is the Truth and Power segment of Getting the Record Straight, where truth to power, I'm sorry, we talk politics, social justice, and related matters. I want to say, first of all, again, subscribe and please do what you can to deal with this virus. Pay attention to what the doctors and experts and health experts are saying. I want to shout out to several of the pastors I listened to. As I said, it's Sunday, and this morning, many pastors, I believe, are doing online services and Facebook Live and that kind of thing. And I had an opportunity to see my girlfriend's pastor at Salem Baptist Church, Marshall Mitchell. He did a really good job this morning. And then, of course, my pastor, Mark Tyler, at Mother Bethel, really tore it up this morning, as did I didn't expect to, but got a chance to listen to Reverend Alan Waller at Enon, and he was exceptional also. So kudos to all three of those gentlemen, servants of the Lord, and really appreciated their messages this morning. I'd like to deal with a couple of other things quickly. The first being to please stay attuned to this situation in Georgia. A young man, 25-year-old, I believe, by the name of Ahmaud Arbery, who was murdered by two men. Of course, Ahmaud is a black man and was jogging in this neighborhood in Georgia, and an ex-police officer and his son, for some reason, thought that he resembled someone who may have committed a crime. We don't even know. But at any rate, they got in the truck. One had a shotgun, the other, I don't know what kind of firearm he had, but they were both locked and loaded, caught up with this young man jogging, and ended up shooting him fatally. The real crux of the matter, and what is so disgusting and demoralizing to so many people, is that no charges have been brought against the ex-police officer and his son. And in fact, the authorities are saying that there wasn't any reason for them to be indicted or arrested because they were in keeping with the citizens arrest statutes in the state. And we've already found out that that's not true. So please, again, keep your eye and ears on this case. Do what you can to support the family and what efforts there are to bring justice for the Arbery family. Also, Brother Tyler, Reverend Tyler at Mother Bethel mentioned again, and I mentioned it as a result of that, him bringing it up a few weeks ago, that there's a bail fund two bail funds that you can contribute to and donate to in this time of the coronavirus. I don't have the statistics on how many prisoners or inmates in this city and state have been infected with the virus, but needless to say, the quarters and the circumstances that inmates find themselves in presents a very, very dangerous situation. So people who certainly don't have to be in jail other than for the fact that they can't afford bail should be given an opportunity to live. And so anyway, these bail funds, one is, I believe, the Philadelphia Bail Fund, the other, the Philadelphia Community Bail Fund. So if you can, please donate. They both have websites, and you can find out how to contribute that way. Want to keep moving now, and again, please subscribe. If I didn't, I think I said that earlier, but please do so. Things are moving. We've really started to do well with these videos, and hopefully you appreciate the kind of information that I am trying to bring to you. By the way, I also put music up twice a week on a YouTube website, not website, but my YouTube channel called Black Rock and Soul, and you can get there at through the website at blackrocksoul.com, www.blackrocksoul.com. So go there; it'll get you to the playlist. Killing it. Got well over 5,000 views thus far, and just some really wonderful music. And of course, if you go to the website, there's also a button that can lead you here so you can see our videos. Yeah, one thing I do want to let you know, we'll be continuing interviews going forward. There's some people I'm having a little bit of difficulty getting in touch with. But I am going to try to, I think, at least once a month, if not twice a month, have a segment that during the Truth and Power segment that I going to refer to as Terror in America. The lynching epidemic, if you will, from roughly 1880 to 1960. Really had a tremendous impact and a devastating impact, obviously, on the African American community, but on the country itself. And I don't believe that enough focus has been placed on the impact of lynching and terrorism here in this country. Of course, the great Brian Stevenson, the attorney for whom, who wrote the book Just Mercy and the movie that was made about that. He has created a museum that is dedicated to the lives of those who lost them, the victims of lynching here in the United States. Most of them are African American. I'm not sure whether he has it. I know some white folks have also been lynched, and I don't know if they're included in that museum. I know that Oprah Winfrey put up some, if not all, of the money for that museum. And I just think it's important for us to really take note of what happened and how serious this lynching was. And I'll be using two books as reference. In fact, this one here, it's called 100 Years of Lynching. It's by Ralph Ginsberg. And it's basically a collection of newspaper articles that actually covered these various lynchings. And I believe this one cites about 4,000. All 4,000 are not, cataloged here, but it references that many, I believe. But anyway, we'll be getting into that and using this as the kind of primary source to talk about terrorism and lynchings. The other book we won't focus on quite as much. It's probably, it's just as important a book, if not more so. And this is called The Warmth of Other Suns. The subtitle is The Epic Story of America's Great Migration. It's by Isabel Wilkerson. It is, let me see, I wrote it down, 538 pages. I actually did read this book. I can't even tell you how important a text this is. It is a great book. It's beautifully written. Isabel Wilkerson is a great writer. And every, I think, senior in high school in the United States, if not elsewhere, certainly every freshman in college should read this book because it talks about, she calls it the epic story of America's Great Migration. I take a little bit of issue with that. People who are fleeing political and economic subjugation and oppression, I don't think are migrants. I think they're displaced people. So I really think it's the great displacement that happened with African Americans, and it's just an incredibly important and incredibly important book. And I don't think you can understate that. I don't think we've really delved into the impact of how that phenomenon and how that kind of terror impacted the South and indeed the entire country. So I am going to make sure that at least once a month, if not twice, we delve into lynching and domestic terrorism here in this country. With that said, I want to talk about a few other things. Let me see. P. Diddy made a comment this week about that Joe Biden should not take, essentially, he was saying that Joe Biden should not take the black vote for granted, and we need to issue some demands to Biden and to the Democratic Party, the Democratic establishment. And he said he might hold his vote up, hold the Democratic Party hostage if demands aren't met. But he didn't say much in terms of what those demands should be. And so he's come under a fair amount of criticism for that. I don't consider, Diddy as a source of, political ideas and concepts. But for what it's worth, I mean, he did something very positive, which too many of black leaders and political leaders have not done, which is talk about something beyond the Democratic establishment just getting Trump out. Of course, that's important. And as I posted on Facebook the other day, I agree with Noam Chomsky, who said that, Trump is so dangerous, he must be ousted. And I agree with that. But the notion that it's just Trump, you know what the Republican Party is all about. And the fact that corporate and establishment Democrats have basically allowed Trump by voting on his budget. The federal judges have had very little, have been contested very little by the Democrats. And, it's quite obvious that the corporate Democrats, as well as the Republicans, have been in cahoots in terms of support of the financial industry and the medical industry and basically the whole corporate business structure. And as far as people on the street and the public, the regular folks, there hasn't been much in terms of difference between Democrats and Republicans. That said, in terms of the black African American political leadership, there's just been nothing, absolutely nothing, except we have to vote for Joe Biden, one, and two, we have to support the Democratic Party. But there's no discussion and they haven't promoted anything in terms of an agenda for black folks. So I get it, Diddy, and that's something that we should be doing. Not necessarily holding up the vote, but we're going to talk a lot more about that the next time that I do the show by myself. Because the next couple, I think we're going to be doing some interviews. Hopefully, I'll be able to catch up with a few folks. But I don't denounce Diddy. We have to step up to the plate, and certainly, if when's the election? November 6th, November 7th. We have to start pushing the agenda button and the black agenda button and pushing it hard. We'll talk about that next time. Take care. This has been Getting the Record Straight. I'm Rob Bell.